match on this pay-per-view right now? Do they have one? I think what I had read was it was the Young Bucks and Adam Page, because they're the six-man tag team champions, against somebody and two guys from, I don't forget who the somebody was. Somebody and two guys from AAA Mexico that were not named. Is that accurate? Do you know?
I don't know. I hope not. Are you sure that was for Final Battle and it wasn't the show after?
I think so, but
okay.
I'm trying to frantically now find...
You talk, I'll find.
So, I guess where I was going with that was they seem to utilize... Obviously, they have the relationship with New Japan. They are seemingly utilizing talents from other promotions like Mexico, AAA, stuff like that. And I know that they've sent...
Sorry, it's Hangman Page and the Young Bucks defending the six-man tag titles against a group of guys that might include Flip Gordon.
There you go. Okay. That's what I read.
Tremendous.
That was immediately irritated for several reasons. So
a group of guys wouldn't irritate me, yeah.
Anyway, where I was going with all that was I know they use guys from AAA and other promotions. They have sent, I know, like Matt Taven and guys to Mexico to do things. Why not, promote that more or get more out of that? Like if you're going to have some sort of partnership or a co-promotion, like New Japan aside, right? Because I know they have a kind of a certain thing going on with them. If you're able to do that, why not showcase that more, right? If you have a match or one of your guys goes down to Mexico and AAA and has a match, like why not see if you can get that match and air it on your TV, or at least have like a 2-minute thing and say, hey, here's this match that Matt Taven went down for, or Cody Rhodes went down for, or the Young Bucks went down for. Go check out this promotion on this page or whatever it is, and like have them do the same thing for you, and like that way try to get more fans, back and forth and more new talent. They're just trying to think of ways to get their more a more wider reach for them. And if they're able to have guys work in these different promotions, New Japan does it for them a little bit, I think. Why not do the same thing with other promotions? It gives you kind of a different feel. That's my...
I think that's a great point, and I'm going to piggyback on that because if... now, this is not my point, I'm just saying what you said. New Japan NJPW World, for people that are in Japan that watch NJPW World, you could watch the Ring of Honor pay-per-views on their streaming service, and you could watch their matches on their streaming service. So if I live in Japan and I'm a huge fan of Okada, and I have NJPW World, and Okada wrestles at Best in the World, guess what? I can see Okada's match, And I think that's a really good point that you brought up because that's not something that Ring of Honor can do right now. And I wonder if it's a legality thing. But it would be. I would love Ring of Honor to put it on, even on their YouTube page, or something like that, or as it's happening, they could live tweet it. It was a good one. I didn't have that one. I'm gonna start slow.
Sure.
Venue and lighting. I've had an issue. Jim Ross had an issue with this like 4 years ago,
Junior.
And Ring of Honor on their pay-per-views, I think they do a very good job of the stage and the setup, and they have like the multi-screens. Like the last pay-per-view that we watched, I forget what it was, but they had like the layered Titantron kind of thing, and I think it looked really good. But for regular taped TV matches, I'm sick of the same look, And don't get me wrong, I could say this about SmackDown, I could say it about Raw, and I could say it about Impact and everything else, but for Ring of Honor, I think it's time to kind of go away from that because it makes it look small scale. And I think even adding some lights, or not even adding pyro, but just kind of doing what you do for the pay-per-views a little bit more, not to that extent, but just changing the look of the product would go a long way in helping them.
Yeah.
Now I go 2, right?
Yeah, if we're gonna do the
snake move. So number 4 for me is going to be you got to go to different towns. You go to the same spot in Delaware. Well, I forget the name of it. They go to the same, not Sandy Fork.
Sandy Fork is where the Briscoes.
Yeah, that's where the Briscoes are. Yeah, I'll actually pull it up right now.
Dearborn, Michigan.
Thank you. That's what I'm thinking of.
Is it Iowa?
Dearborn, Michigan. Yep. Michigan? But Ring of Honor tends to go to the same spots: Atlanta, Georgia, New Orleans, Concord, Philly. Like they go to the same towns. Like when was the last time Ring of Honor did California? See, now, if I'm Ring of Honor, I see what New Japan Pro Wrestling did in California. I'm going to California. Hell, I'm not saying they got to come to Long Island because we're from Long Island, but you see the kind of shows that House of Hardcore draws at the sports arena. You could do, and it's a different feel because you go to the same spots in the city. You know, you go to, like I said, you go to Dearborn, and you go to the same Sam's Club in Vegas for your pay-per-views. You got to expand out a little bit. I would even be cool with them holding. You know, they did the Japan shows last year, right?
In California.
Did they do it in Japan? So Honor Reign Supreme.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the co-branded shows in New Japan and stuff like that. In Japan, that was cool. But you gotta, because then what happens is you get the same thing happens to NXT. You get stagnant crowds, you know, and you have the same people coming to the same shows. I keep saying the same thing. Don't go to New York City. Go to Long Island. Go to Queens. Go to upstate. You know, don't go to the same spots in Florida. You gotta, because you're not filling 15,000 square foot, 15,000 seat venues, so you have more options. You can go to a place that fits 2,000 or 3,000, and it'll be a different look from different people. I think that's important for them.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. My turn now, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. One of the things I was thinking about was, you know, advertising, right, or commercials and things. Now, I have no idea how much that stuff costs, so I don't know, like, if they have a budget for that or how that all works. But, like, why not buy a commercial and have it air during, like, Raw or SmackDown or Impact? Like, I don't know how much that stuff costs, so again, so maybe it's not within their budget to do so, but why not do that and, like, just have a, you know, like, when I watch Raw, there are certain times that I see a commercial for a local, like, Center Reach, New York promotion. Like, oh, come check out, like, Victory Pro Wrestling in Center Reach. Like, I've seen that. So
I haven't seen it for Impact.
Yeah, so, like, somebody has the wherewithal to say, put it together a commercial and then air it. So, like, why can't they have, like, a 30-second spot of, like, hey, here's Ring of Honor, here's a bunch of highlights in, like, 20 seconds, and, like, check out our show.
Put Samoa Joe on there, and put CM Punk and do stuff like that.
Something like that, right? And go, here's a show on this channel, and if you don't get this channel, like, subscribe to our YouTube, or go to our website, or do this, or whatever it is, and, like, then see if you can get more people on that. Like, why not show it during other wrestling things? Like, obviously, you can't show it on the WWE Network, right, when they have pay-per-views and stuff on there, but if the stuff that airs on TV, whatever channel it's on, USA, or any other channels that they might be on in different countries, like, why not try to buy some time or like a 30-second spot and do that? To me, that would be worthwhile, because then you can get more people watching it. You know, I only learned about Ring of Honor from the internet, right? Like, I'd never seen it on TV before because it wasn't on a station out here. And
I saw it on HDNet back in the day, but that was such a niche, like it is now. It's like a niche station, and it was on Monday nights at 9 o'clock. And I just happened to be flipping around one day, and I saw it, and I watched it until it was off HDNet. But when it was off HDNet, I didn't get back into it again until you and I started talking about it in probably mid 2014 or so.
Right.
You know, but you're right. You couldn't find it.
Yeah, that was a channel that my cable carrier didn't have. So
you suck, Dolan.
Yeah, I was never able to watch it. So, and then I was able to watch it for a period of time when it was on, like, Destination America for like 6 months, and then now it's on Comet TV, which, it's the dog from Full House. So I don't know how to see that on TV. I can't watch. I have to go either online or on, like, a Fight TV app or something on a device, a mobile device. So that was my fourth one. My third one, just looking at the Final Battle card, and, you know, again, like you said earlier, we haven't been tracking it or following it week to week, so it's hard for me to comment on all of the feuds. But Final Battle, when we went to it the first time, Final Battle is supposed to be the culmination of whatever major feuds.
The Final Battle.
Yes, of things that are happening, you know, in the company, right? So the first time we went, it was Adam Cole and Jay Briscoe, and they had been feuding for like a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And there were other things
time splitters.
Yeah, there were other things on that show where it was like, you know, the culmination of feuds. They don't seem to book a lot of long-term feuds right now. Like, they have some that are kind of a slow burn, but realistically, I think if you book longer-term feuds up and down the card, I realize you can't have like 10 feuds going at once, or that's hard to do, but can you at least have like 4 or 5 like major feuds that are revolving around the titles, and like 1 or 2 others that, like, now I'm going to watch this major show and I want to see like all this stuff. So I know that they have Cody versus Dalton Castle, and that's been building for a little while, and then the Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer versus the Briscoes has been going for a little while. Everything else on here, I don't know how long these feuds have been going on, if they've been going on, if there are feuds at all. Like Matt Taven versus Will Ospreay, like, I don't know that they're feuding. Like
Matt Taven and Will Ospreay, that's new to me.
Kenny King versus Punishment Martinez versus Shane Taylor versus Silas Young in a 4-way for the ROH TV title. Like, come on, bro. Yeah. So, like, again, like you just referenced, the older Ring of Honor, I think, had a lot more of that, and I wasn't following it at the time, but I like watching it, but I knew enough about the feuds and the stables and the history and like the title reigns and all this stuff. It's kind of famous in some aspects of the wrestling world that people reference it. You know, either like the Ring of Honor guys that have graduated from there and gone to NXT, or even Impact, like Samoa Joe and Austin Aries and Daniel Bryan. They have these like well-known, you know, quote-unquote legendary title reigns from Ring of Honor, and I just don't think that it has that feel anymore. So longer term and more serious feuds up and down the card versus like, hey, we're just gonna throw a spot fest together, or like, hey, we have Will Ospreay working, so we're gonna have him work Matt Taven, like, was stuff like that. I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna just read off the last 5 or 6 Final Battle main events. Okay? Sure. This year was Cody versus Dalton Castle. That's what it's gonna be. Last year was Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly for the ROH World Title. Then it was Jay Lethal versus AJ Styles for the ROH World Title. Jay Briscoe versus Adam Cole the year before that. The year before that, it was Cole versus Elgin versus Briscoe in a 3-way. The year before that, it was Kevin Steen versus El Generico. The year before that, it was Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards. The year before that, it was Generico versus Kevin Steen in a fight without honor with Generico's mask and Steen's career on the line. You hear those matches, you are like, holy shit. Like, those matches are, like, just insane, and they're the end of such a long feud, and I don't feel like Cody and Dalton Castle really grabs at me.
Not doing it for you.
No, not doing it for me. So I completely agree with what you're saying there. This is a no-brainer for me. You're taping shows 6 months at a clip. You gotta stop with that. You know, I understand from a business perspective it's what you have to do, but when the same thing happens in NXT, because you said you read the NXT, so like, you know what's going to happen in NXT, right? I don't necessarily read the NXT spoilers, but with the Ring of Honor spoilers, like I will read them because they tape. There's 2 nights back to back, or it's like 4 episodes at a time.
Yeah, I think 4 or 5 episodes per taping.
There has to be a better way to do it. You know, I don't know what it is, and I know it's costly and like financially speaking, it might be a detriment to them, but I feel like it would bring more eyes to their product. So I don't think taping a month at a time, especially right after the pay-per-view, is good for them. I think by the time you got to figure, so you have the pay-per-view on, let's say the pay-per-view's on a Saturday, and then you have the taping on a Sunday night, and the Sunday night you might tape 3 episodes. So 24 hours after the main event, you're taping for literally 4 weeks later. Everybody knows what happened at that point, and it's, I don't know, for me, it takes a lot of the luster away from it. So that was my number 2.
3?
That was my number 3. My number 2, it's something they're working on right now. I've heard about it, but the Ring of Honor streaming service. I pay whatever I pay a month for the Ring of Honor to be a ringside member, you know, which is cool because it gets me, a discount on shirts or whatever I buy. So if I order 3 shirts a year, I get my money back. Plus, I also get the free video on demand library, which I think is awesome. However, although I will say the survival of the fittest, they did have those live streaming on their website, which is good. I think that's a step in the right direction. But if you have a streaming service for Ring of Honor, the TV show, I don't want to say the TV show becomes less important, but people aren't watching your TV show anyway because, like you said, it's on comment. So if I'm going to pay, I'll pay $9.99 a month to watch Ring of Honor each week or whenever it is. But if they're going to have a Survival of the Fittest tournament, I want to watch that live. I want to be able to watch that live. I want to be able to stream it through all my devices. I want that bitch on Xbox One, Xbox 360, all that stuff. So I know Kerry Silken, you heard Kerry Silken say that, right? He said They're working on it. So I know Kerry Silken said it's something in the works, but harking back to what also you said, I want to be able to watch the Bucks versus Penta and Ray Phoenix in CMLL. I want to be able to watch that on the streaming service. And I think if enough people do buy into Ring of Honor streaming service, it might be easier for them to accomplish those things. But I think that would be, and the same thing, you follow the WWE network model almost to a T. I want to see Beretta and Chuck Taylor eating lunch together and have a show about it. You know, like stuff like that. You could put, and then you could do when you have these tapings, you could shoot interviews in the back. You could shoot guys having their own, show and stuff like that. And you could really get to know the talent. You can get more emotionally invested in the product. So I think a streaming service is the number one way to go for them.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So I think I might